Balance of payment theory. This is the third theory of determination of foreign exchange rate. It is also referred to as demand and supply theory of exchange. The theory stresses that the rate of exchange basically relates to the position of balance of payment of the country concerned. A favorable balance of payment leads to an appreciation in the external value of the currency of the country. Unfavorable balance of payment causes a depreciation of the external value. So this theory explains three important points. The first one, this is very similar to the demand and supply theory, which we already learned in the previous video. And the second important point is this theory explains the relationship between the rate of exchange and the position of the balance of payment of that particular theory. Then the third point says a favorable balance of payment. Here a favorable balance of payment is a condition where exports are more than import, which leads to an appreciation in the value of that home currency. Okay, if unfavorable balance of payment is there, this is again a condition where imports are more than exports, that leads to a depreciation of the value of home currency. So these are the overview of this theory. Let's go into the next slide and we'll try to learn more things about this theory. Demand and supply of exchange rate. As we know, there is a relationship between the exchange rate and balance of payment. A deficit in the balance of payment leads to fall in the exchange rate. A surplus in the balance of payment will leads to increase in exchange rate, or we can say that will increase the value of the home currency. So this theory states that the equilibrium rate of exchange is determined where demand for and supply of country currencies are equal. So let's say when the rate of exchange is low, means the value of home currency depreciates against the foreign currency. Let's see an example. If $1 is equivalent to 60 rupees, so in exchange of $1 we are getting 60 rupees. So there is a depreciation in the value of Indian currency, let's say from 60 rupees to 62 rupees, from 60 to 62 rupees. Okay, so let's say there is a depreciation in the value of Indian rupees, that is from 60 rupees to 62 rupees. So this type of situation influence the foreigners to buy more Indian product, or in other way we can say foreigners purchasing power is increases. Initially they used to get 60 worth of goods, okay, by paying $1. Now they are getting 62 worth of goods and services by paying $1. So this ultimately increases the export because the foreigners are getting goods in at the cheaper rate. So if you see here, the initial exchange rate was $1 was equivalent to 60. So 0 to M. This was our demand for our home currency. Now, let's say there is an depreciation in the value of currency. So from 60 to 62 rupees. So $1 is equivalent to 62. So this will leads to increase in our Indian currency from M to M1. So if company exports, if the country exports increases, so if the country export increases, foreigners demand for Indian currency increases. So here see, there is a there is a depreciation in the value of Indian currency. So that's the reason the foreigners are demanding more Indian currency from M to M1. This happen when country has a surplus balance of payment. When country has a deficient balance of payment, the supply of US currency increases in the market. Then the demand for Indian rupees will lead again this will lead again a depreciation in the Indian rupees, or the rate of exchange will fall. So this is all about balance of payment theory. Let's see some assumption regarding this theory. Assumptions of balance of payment theory approach. So the first assumption of this theory is there is no any government control in the foreign exchange market, but in realistic the government will control the foreign exchange rate. And the second point is that the second assumption is that this theory explains the relationship between the balance of payment and exchange rate, but in realistic, or we can say the rate of exchange is also influenced by the price cost structure of the country. And the third assumption is the balance of payment to be at fixed quantity. So this is also not a real assumption. So these are all the assumption of balance of payment theory approach. Let's move on to the next theory. uh, the types of foreign exchange rate system. So there are two types of foreign exchange rate system. The first one is fixed exchange rate, and the second one is fluctuating exchange rate. A fixed exchange rate is a regime applied by a government or a central bank, ties the country currency official exchange rate to another country's currency or the price of gold. So the here we need to understand the three important thing. The first one is, here the rate of exchange is fixed by the government or central bank of that particular country. Let's say if one dollar is equivalent to 62, it means that exchange rate is determined by the government. So this is to stable the foreign trade. Then the next important thing is the rate is fixed in term of external standard. So here the standard can be a gold, silver, or any other currency. And the third important point is, when currency is tied up with any standard, that is called pegging. Let's say if Indian rupee is tied up with US dollar, and if anyone wants to know the value of Indian currency, they can check the value of Indian currency through the dollar value. So this is all about fixed exchange rate. Let's discuss the advantage of fixed exchange rate. The first one is, the fixed exchange rate avoid the currency fluctuation. Uh, if currency value if currency value fluctuates frequently, this can cause a problem for international trade. For example, if Indian firm is if Indian firm is selling or exporting raw material to USA, a rapid increase in value of Indian currency would make export uncompetitive. So better to having one fixed exchange rate. So this will avoid the fluctuation in the currency. Then the second one is Stability encourages investment. Yes, the fixed exchange rate encourages investment because it gives certainty to the investor. And the third advantage is keep inflation low. If government allows devaluation of currency, it can cause inflation because aggregate demand increases for exports. Meanwhile, import prices will get increased, and this situation having a less incentive to cut the cost, that leads to high price or inflation in that particular country. So always having a fixed exchange rate will keep everything stabilized. And the last advantage is the fixed exchange rate will not affect the current account. So let's say if a sudden appreciation in the currency value will affect the current account balance badly. This leads to a deficiency in balance of payment. So these are the advantage of fixed exchange rate. Disadvantage of fixed exchange rate. These are all disadvantages. Let's see one by one. The first one is conflict with other microeconomic object. The fixed exchange rate regime will cause or affect other economic factor. Let's say if there is a fall in exchange rate continuously below the exchange rate which is fixed by the central bank, then the bank has to take a measures to lift up the currency value by increasing the interest rate. If bank increases the interest rate, that makes the borrowings more costly. Ultimately this leads to decrease in money supply in the market. So if there is a less money supply in the market, this is going to reduce the demand for goods and services. So the whole situation will affect the economy very badly. So this is the first disadvantage. And the next one is less flexibility. Here in suppose in a condition where there is an increase in deficiency in the balance of payment. Imagine there is an increase in deficiency in the balance of payment. Under fixed exchange rate, there is no ability or there is less flexibility to devalue the currency to reduce the deficiency in the balance of payment. So here we can say under fixed exchange regime there is a less flexibility. And the third point is join at the wrong rate. So here let's say it is very difficult to peg to the right currency, or we can say it is very difficult to peg a right rate. If the rate is too high, it is going to make the exports uncompetitive. If the rate is too low, this is going to create the inflationary situation in the country. Then the fourth point is require higher rate higher interest rate. If the currency falls below the fixed exchange rate, government will increase the value of currency by increasing the interest rate. So this is this is the measure where the government takes when there is a continuously fall in the currency rate. So the increase in interest rate may cause the mortgage default. Here mortgage default means when borrower fails to make loan, and this makes a banks or a lender to has an option to take over the property. So ultimately this is going to lead the recession. So this is all about the disadvantage of require higher rate of interest rate. Then the next point is current account imbalance. So here due to fixed exchange rate, there will be less chance to balance the current account imbalance. Okay, then the sixth point is difficulty in keeping the value of the currency. So under the situation where currency is falling below, the government has to intervene and changes the exchange rate. So this will again create uncertainty in the mind of investor. So it's very difficult to keep the value of currency at the fixed rate. Then the last one is encourages speculative attacks. So when investors believe that the value of currency is overvalued and therefore they sell that currency in anticipation of it falling and buy another currency with buy or they buy another currency. When speculators know if the currency is fundamentally misvalued, then the government have no option, so they have to leave the fixed exchange rate regime altogether. So these are all the disadvantage of fixed exchange rate. Now we'll see the next type, that is floating exchange rate. Floating exchange rate. This is the second type of exchange rate. A floating exchange rate is a regime where the currency price of the nation is set by the forex market based on supply and demand relative to other currency. So here the increase and the decrease in the exchange rate is determined by the market force. So no, the government will not intervene to determine the exchange rate under this regime. So this is very independent, which is based on the exchange rate is based on market force. Let's say if the demand for the particular currency is more in the market, the value of that currency appreciates. In case the supply of particular currency is more, then the value of that currency in the market will get depreciate. So this is all about floating exchange rate. Let's see the advantages of flexible exchange rate. We call floating exchange rate as a flexible exchange rate also. So the first one is independent monetary policy. Under flexible exchange rate regime, the monetary policy of the country works independently. Here, the economy condition of the country is less affected by the economic condition of other countries. So it is totally independent. Then the next point is it promotes economic development. The exchange rate can be changed in accordance with the requirement of the monetary policy of that country. So that is to achieve the planned national objectives. So this promotes economic development. Then the third point is it reduces the imbalance in balance of payment. Under flexible exchange rate regime, if there is a continuous deficiency in the balance of payment, that will be adjusted by devaluing the currency. Currency that encourages the exporter to exports and this brings equilibrium in the balance of payment. Then the next point, it promotes international trade. The system of flexible exchange rate does not permit exchange control. So here under the flexible exchange rate, so government will not intervene to determine the exchange rate. So there is no any exchange control in under flexible exchange rate regime. So this will promote the free trade between the countries. Then the next advantage is increases the international liquidity. The problem of international liquidity is automatically solved here under flexible exchange rate. In fact, the present shortage of international liquidity is due to pegging the exchange rate, due to, or we can say it's due to fixed exchange rate and the intervention of IMF authorities or intervention of government. So to prevent fluctuation in the rates beyond the narrow limit. So this will help us to solve that problem. Then the next advantage is it promotes investment. So here under let's say that is a big argument that the long term international investments are encouraged under a fixed exchange rate system. So it is that is not actually a true. The lenders and borrowers cannot expect the exchange rate to be remain stable over a long period of time. So this is we can't say that there will be a one rate in the market for the long time. So ultimately that is not a correct thing. So indirectly this promotes the investment under flexible exchange rate. And the second point is then the last point is market force at work. Under the flexible exchange rate system, the foreign exchange rates are determined by the market force of demand and supply. The market is cleared off automatically through changes in exchange rate, and the possibility of scarcity or surplus of any currency does not exist. So this will work on the market force. So these are all advantages of flexible exchange rate. Let's see some disadvantages of flexible exchange rate in the next slide. Disadvantage of a flexible exchange rate. The first one is unstable condition. Flexible exchange rate creates uncertainty between the traders and the investors, foreign investor. The long-term foreign investment will get reduced because of high risk involved due to uncertainty and instability in the condition. Then the second point is adverse effect on economic condition. The system of flexible exchange rate has serious effect on economy structure of that country. Frequent fluctuation in the exchange rate may cause or may change the price of the imported goods and exported goods, which in turn unstable the economy of that country. The third point is inflationary effect. Let's say the domestic value of the currency depreciates, then this is going to affect the domestic price level of that particular country. In other word, we can say that the inflationary effect can be seen. Okay, can be seen in that particular country. So inflationary rise in prices leads to further depreciation of external value of that currency. Then the next then next and last disadvantage of flexible exchange rate is unnecessary capital movement. So the system of fluctuating exchange rate leads to unnecessary international capital movement. This encourages the speculative activities. Such system causes large scale capital outflow and inflow. So this is going to disturb the economy of the country. So these are all disadvantage of flexible exchange rate.